All right. Take 3. Where's the... Okay, there's the camera. So take 3. All right. I'm going to try and do some more videos. Try and grow the channel. If y'all don't know what this thing is right here, this is a bamboo back scratcher. The greatest thing on the face of the planet. Anyway, enterprise trucks. Let's talk about them, shall we? I've been doing one off and on for about 5 years. Presently in one now because the Speed Tour merchandise trailer, or the race trailer that I call it, it's easier to get in and out of hotels, and it's easier to get in and out of the paddock at the tracks in a 1-ton pickup than it is in a Class 8 tractor. So this time is why I'm in one. Now, I'm gonna put this video out. I might put out another one Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe. Next Monday, my ass is on an airplane to Alaska for 10 days. So, won't be a video during that time. And then there probably won't be one the following week when I come back. I don't know. Just have to see. But going forward, I'm going to try to do a lot better about doing at least 2 videos a week. See if I can't get some traction. See if I can't grow this channel. I'm seeing a lot of new people, and I mean, they're just, oh, my company's the greatest, or, oh, well, you know, some advice is good. Some of the advice is good. Some of it's just pure shit because they don't know, because they, 1, haven't been in the business long enough, and 2, they've only worked for one company. I've got a handful of what I think are good videos. Of course, everyone thinks they got good videos, but I also say I probably got some videos that are shit. So, there. But anyway, enough about that. 3 minutes on just fucking nonsense. I'm trying to keep this to 10 minutes. Of course, at 5 minutes, y'all fucking check out and go somewhere else, according to my analytics. So, I'm pretty impressed with myself that I even know what that is, or how to read it. Anyway, so chop on the Reader Digest version of the Enterprise truck. So, on the Enterprise truck, it is a decent idea to do if you're going to be doing multi-haul, or where you've got, and I'm not talking about backhauls, I'm talking about reloads. Companies like to throw that word around, backhaul. They think, okay, because it's a backhaul, we're going to pay you shit. Like, this pays $1.08, or that pays $1.10, or it's $1.20. Or it's $1.20 on a reload, depending on what it is and how far you had to go to get it, it's not a bad deal. Everything is about perspective. Oh, fuck, I guess we'll make a video about perspective, I guess. We can go into that a little bit more rather than the Enterprise. See, here I am just rambling. I don't know. It's just... Whew. So anyway, we talk about rates. I guess I could do a video about all kinds of shit, really. Never really thought about this. I don't know what the title of this video now. Any price. Alright. It's like squirrel. Anyway, so doing multi-haul in an Enterprise truck, you can make money, but you got to be careful about the miles you run, because you can spend a lot of your profit paying for the truck. Just for example, I ran a handful of loads before I went to California with the race trailer. Well, that week was like $894 for rent. for the week. Some of y'all have less at or slightly more for a month's worth of truck payments. But then you got to throw in oil changes. I'm not paying for oil changes out of my pocket, but you can guarantee you it's coming out of that rent that I pay. Because Enterprise, they buy these trucks direct. They own. This is owned 100% by Enterprise Holdings. And so they're not making a bank payment. They're just using these to create revenue. So then the week that I was out there was my minimum payment. I'm not going to get into it because the guys at Enterprise asked not to get into rates, so I'm not going to. Plus, my rate's a little bit different. Not necessarily different. The way I pay for my Enterprise truck is different because I'm renting the truck from Bennett. Bennett is renting it from Enterprise. Now, Bennett, I'm paying Bennett differently than Bennett pays Enterprise. And I know this and I'm okay with it. I don't care. At the end of the day, I have a truck that I can beat on. And it's just that. It goes back, it goes away, and no big deal. So the consensus is that they would like to swap these trucks out at 65,000 miles. 60 to 65,000 miles, they want to swap them out. The problem is when your truck comes to that mileage, if they don't have a truck to swap you into, then you're not getting another truck. You'll be in your truck until they have you another truck. Now, if you're doing multi-haul, that means that the truck has to come in. They got to do all their stuff that they do within Indianapolis. Send it to Elkhart. Elkhart calls you, hey, we got your truck in. It's going over to Indiana Diesel, Absolute Fabrication, Myers Equipment. It's going somewhere to have the bed removed and a flatbed put on. Sometimes they'll ask you to come in and say, hey, we're going to take the bed off your truck, put it on your replacement truck, and so now you're down. Sometimes, like the other day, I was at Absolute Fabrication, and there were two beds sitting over in the corner. And they had a truck sitting there, so I already knew what was going to happen. They're going to take a bed off the new truck, put flatbed that's in the corner on that one, and then more likely the phone call to the customer will be, hey, we have your replacement truck, the flatbed's already on it. Whenever you get up here, we'll swap you out. You take your shit out of your truck, put it in your new truck, turn it in the old truck. The old truck goes back to wherever the bed came off at. They swap beds, and it goes on to wherever it goes. So, I've known of these trucks to go 99,000 miles. Yes, 99,000. Matter of fact, I went to the Ohio Turnpike just inside Ohio and picked up one that had transmission let go in it at 99,600 miles. So, don't come into this thinking, oh yeah, it's 60,000 miles, I get a brand new truck. Because I've yet to get a truck in the 5 years I've been doing Enterprise off and on, I've yet to get a replacement truck at the recommended mileage that they want to change it at. It's always been passed. So there's that. Yes, you don't have to pay out of pocket for tires or for maintenance. However, what do you think that monthly charge and your set mileage plus your additional charge for every mile after your allotted miles for the 30 days, that's what pays for this shit. You're paying for it. You're just paying for it in a different way. Now, personally, and I'll say it again for those in the back that didn't understand, this truck is easier to drive through the racetrack and through the paddock than a semi. Period. That's why I'm in it. If it wasn't for the race series, I'd probably still be in my Cascadia. Well, no probablys. I would be still in my Cascadia. So, having said that, and we're at the 10-minute mark. Enterprise can be good, but you can also spend a shit pot of money if you drive a lot of miles. You can almost give your profit back to Enterprise. So you're gonna have to figure out, because everybody's different, what that fine line is. At what point do I stop for the week? Because I made $10,800, but this week I got to give $800 of that to Enterprise. Or maybe you only made $1,800, and now rent comes due and it's $800. Now you only made $1,000. You just gotta weigh it out. I'm not gonna say this is the end all greatest thing. It's a temporary fix. If you paid yourself like you pay Enterprise, I did the math once, and I think every 3 years you could literally pay cash. You could take your truck in on the 3rd year and a pile of cash and drive off in a brand new truck and own it outright. But I don't know how many people would pay themselves religiously. Because let's face it, some of us are very disciplined with money and some of us are not. Now, obviously, when you do your first truck, you would have to finance it like everyone else does. But you would have to commit to yourself that if you ran, say you charge yourself 30 cents a mile, and you ran X amount of miles, that you need to take that money and pay it to the bank. Don't put it in savings, pay it to the bank. Get that truck damn near as close to, if not paid off, in the 3 years. Once the truck's paid off, you keep paying yourself, but in your savings account. And you could come out pretty okay. But a lot of us don't have that. So, there's that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, Enterprise is decent if you're in multi-haul. If you're in single pull, that's a great way to go bankrupt real quick. In my mathematical figuring this in my head. I'm sure someone's doing it right now and I'm fucking killing it. And there's always somebody out there to say that you're wrong in something. So, there's that. Guess I could do a video on gassers too. Because believe it or not, a gas truck in this business is not a bad idea. We'll do a part 2. Because we're coming on 15 minutes. So I'm going to try to keep this shit short and sweet. I'm not going to try to drag this shit out like an hour and a half. That's what I'll do. So, in conclusion, Enterprise. Single pull, no bueno. Enterprise multi-haul, you're good to go. Or, if you're Enterprise, and say you work for a company like Bennett, where you could be hooked to something more often than not, then yes, it would be beneficial and you could make money with it. But if you're driving for Indiana Transport, Horizon, Synergy, Wave, yeah, you guys have backhauls, which is campers going from one dealer to another. I don't pay shit. I'm talking about hooking to a fucking trailer that pays you $250 a mile to go to the other end of the fucking country. That's a fucking backhaul. That's a fucking reload. That's how it needs to be done in order for you to make it in an Enterprise truck as single pull. I'm going to turn this off. Next video will be gas or be diesel. This will stir some feathers. Oh, and as always, y'all be good. Fuck, I even forgot what I used to say. Y'all be safe. Y'all be good.